Welcome to yoga. Okay, today let's take a nice good stretching flow today. So if you have a strap, if you tend to not be able to take your arms behind your back very easily, and that gets, a little sketchy for you, take a strap or a towel or something that you can hold on to behind your back. Just have it nearby in case you decide you want it. As well, a couple of blocks if you have them, and a blanket for your cushion of your knees and such as we move along. If you have an ottoman, a wall, something nearby, if you tend to have tense, tight hamstrings, or you're feeling low back discomfort or anything today, something higher, elevated may be nice to put your hands on as we do standing forward folds. So go ahead and let's come on over. We're going to come to standing first. So standing at the top of your mat, and again, you can have your blocks up here or ottoman or anything else that may be handy to have. So as we start here at the very top of your mat, so I'm just going to face forward for a moment just so that you can see better, but you're facing to the top of your mat, so you've got plenty of room to work. You're going to spread the toes wide, finding that grounding sensation first here. Let the shoulders lift up, roll them back and down a couple of times. And then let the shoulders just relax down. So starting with your basic standing alignment or Tadasana, mountain pose. Toes are spread all the way from big toe to little toe, pressing down through your heels, lifting up through the front of the thighs, but without a lot of tension. So meaning I don't want you to lock everything down. Just find a nice lifted sensation that you can stand tall. And then let the shoulders relax a little more. Good. Your rib cage is drawn in. We'll sweep the arms up. As you sweep the arms up, just place the palms close together, or you can interlace your hands, reaching over to one side. Now when you reach, notice if you're leaning. So if you'll take a look, I'm just leaning too far over. So I want to stay lifted and then reach over. Just a big crescent. Come back to center, inhale. And then exhale off to the other side, getting long through the side waist. And then coming back to center, softening the knees, and we'll forward fold down toward the floor. So hands can reach all the way to the floor or any elevated blocks or spaces in front of you. Let's lift halfway up, a nice flat back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, start to slide all the way up, sweep up. Reach over again to one side and then over to the other. You're anchoring through your hips and your feet, and then back to center, flowing down, forward fold, floating halfway lift, inhale, exhale, let everything fall. Inhale, sweeping up, all the way up, a little crescent, standing crescent over to one side, and then over to the other. Forward fold, Uttanasana. This time, just let yourself hang into a little ragdoll hang. So hands can clasp the elbows, bend your knees quite a bit. Just lift your chest a little, let it fall towards your thighs. Let your head hang, shake the head a few times. Taking one more breath. As your hands start to slide back up the shins to your knees, lifting from the hinge of your hips, come all the way up. And as you reach up, take a moment here. I want you to take a moment. I'm going to mirror you for a second here. Okay, so taking your hands up, take that right hand, reach around your left wrist. The palms are facing in, so left palm stays in. You're just going to flip that right hand, hold on to the wrist. And now take your left leg, step it back into a big crisscross with your legs. And now reach over to your right. Okay. So you're reaching away from the leg you have crossed back. Nice long stretch. I want you to feel like you could bring that left side body all the way around even a little. Okay. And reach it out, pull on that hand just a tiny bit. And then we'll come back to center. Bring it back. Forward fold, down toward the floor. Lifting halfway, inhale, and exhale down. Inhale, sweep up. We'll do that on the other side. Sweeping all the way up. Now flipping the left hand, taking hold of the right wrist, pull that bicep close to your ear. Take your right leg, cross it back, all 10 of your toes pointing to the same direction toward the front. And now just shifting and reaching over to the left, anchoring your hips. Try not to let this left hip kind of hike up. We're just going to keep it level there as you reach. Like someone else has got a hold of your wrist and they're pulling your arm. And then come back to center. Unwind and then forward fold. Lifting halfway up. Go ahead, take your feet a little bit wider, not much, maybe about the width of your shoulders or so. You can have a block in front of you or your hand to the floor. I'm going to take the right hand down and lift the left arm up, bend the right knee, and just rotate and look up toward the sky or over to the side. And then we'll switch sides. So if you've got your blocks, you can just again place one hand, left hand down on the floor or a block, and bend the left knee. Just turn and look. And then back to center. Forward fold. Keep your blocks handy. We're going to lift up again halfway, this time stepping back. So if you like to use that height, you can keep them under the hands. So stepping your left foot back, finding your first low lunge. Inhale, sweeping arms up. And then pull the elbows back. Good, reaching forward, inhale. Exhale, pulling back. One more here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull back. And then just bringing the hands down to the floor. Stepping your right foot back. And lowering all the way down into the mat. So as you lower down, nice and controlled here. We're going to uncurl the toes. Tops of your feet are on the floor. Go ahead, take your legs a little wider on this one, maybe to the corners of your mat. Push all the way out through that big toe, inner leg line, and across towards your little toe. Now, as your hands are underneath your shoulders, we're not going to over compress the back, but I want you to push your pubic bone down and just a soft lift of your chest, and we'll bring it down. So we'll do that a few times. Just nice, beautiful little cobra lifts. Inhale. Exhale down. Taking one more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lowering down. Lifting back up to the knees. So lifting from the floor all the way up to the knees. Sending yourself back into child's pose. We'll move forward and back a few times. So inhale, come forward. Your knees can stay wide. Find a knee plank here. Exhale. Shift it back. And two more. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, shifting back. Now when you come forward, make sure your hip points are dialing slightly up, that you're not letting your hips just sink to the floor. And now last one. Inhale, come back to center. Turn the toes under this time. And now lift up, press back into downward facing dog. So in your downward facing dog, take the feet closer to center, closer to the center of your mat. Picking up the right leg. And now I want you to tap that right foot over to the left side. Give it a little crisscross there. If it doesn't reach the floor, it's okay, just let it hang. And then pick it up. We'll switch sides, so left leg lifting up. Cross it back. And then back up to center. Gazes forward. You'll walk or step your way up to the top. Halfway lift. Exhale down. Inhale, sweeping up all the way to the top. Reach up and then over to one side. Big crescent reach. Inhale, center. Over to the opposite side. Reach. Inhale, come back. Exhale, floating down, Uttanasana. Halfway up, inhale. We're stepping back again, so if you'd like to use your blocks, go ahead. We're stepping right foot back this time. Dropping the knee down, watching front knee and heel alignment. Inhale, sweeping up. And then continue that movement by drawing elbows back. Inhale, reach forward. You can kind of lean into it. Exhale, pull back, but try not to overemphasize the arch of your back there. Okay, inhale, reach. Exhale, pull. Hands coming down to the floor. Stepping left foot back. Lowering down for your cobra here. So legs are wide, nice wide leg cobra. We'll inhale, floating up. Give your low back plenty of space here. Take your feet as wide as you like. We're going 3 times here. Gentle movements, inhale. Not overpowering with the arms. Just want you to feel like you're gently moving in water. 1 more, inhale. Exhale down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, press back into child's pose. And we'll do that 3 times as well. So just moving forward and back. Kind of move through a cat stretch on your way there. And then press it back. Starting to emphasize the movements even more. Get it big and round and then land in your plank. Last one. As you come forward, turning the toes under, lifting up and pressing back. Finding your down dog here. I want you to take your feet again a little closer to center. This time, bring your knees together so they're touching. Pick up the right foot, just bend the knee. And now shift your right hip toward the floor, meaning you're going to turn on your left leg so that you're doing a little twist there. You're really pushing back out of your left outer hip. Your right hip is kind of rotating down toward the floor. So I've got my knees together, rotating that right hip down. Left side waist feels long. And you come back to center. Take that right foot down, switch sides. So picking up the left foot and then rotate the left hip down. So you're just kind of wagging your tail over to one side. If this is discomforting to your arms, just place the elbows on the floor. And then come back to center. Separate the feet. Inhale, gaze forward. Walk or step your way up again to the top of your mat. Lifting halfway. Exhale, down. Inhale, sweep all the way up. And again, big crescent reach. Now, if you like to let one arm fall, this is another option here. Back up, inhale, exhale, over. And keep your tail long, so try not to let the tail lift up behind you. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, gently rising. Exhale, bring it down. Left foot stepping back. Finding again, low lunge. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, pull back. We'll do 3 of those movements again. Inhale, reach. Exhale, pull back. Good. 1 more here. Inhale. And exhale. Placing left hand on the floor. Sweep the right arm up and rotate. Now just circle that right arm this time. Right arm only, big circles. Inhale, reach, reach back. And 1 more. Inhale. And exhale, bring it back to center. Okay. Placing the right foot back. Finding your plank. Now if you choose to go into a more powerful plank, you can lift the knees. If you want to keep it light, keep the knees down. We lower all the way down to the mat. Moving cobra, inhale. Exhale down. Notice the elbows are going to stay in close. We're not shrugging in the shoulders. Not a lot of energy in that upper body. It's there, but we're not overpowering. Drop your tail. 1 more. Lift. And exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, press back, child's pose. Now, if you would like to change this up, you could shift it forward into full plank. If you want to stay low today, then you can crouch back into a little crouching down dog and then forward. So it's really up to you. What kind of movement do you want today? How much energy do you have? And just pick your level. Okay, last one. Shifting back, coming forward, and now back into down dog. You could always opt out and move into a child's pose. Taking feet closer together, right leg goes up, bend the knee. Try to lift that knee up as high as you can. This may require you to bend your left knee as well. And lift up high, 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 and then flip it over. Opening up the hip, try to look under your left armpit. And then bring it all the way back around, switching sides. The left leg goes up. Flip it up and over. Try to look under your right armpit. Come back to center, deep breath. Exhale, gaze forward, walk or step your way up to the top. Little lift and lower. Inhale, sweeping, coming all the way up. Big reach in the side reach, or whatever your preference is, both arms or one arm at a time. This time I want you to sweep up again. And now forward fold, all the way down. We'll lift halfway up. Taking right foot back, big giant step, shift it back. Watch your knee and heel. Inhale, sweeping. Cushion that back knee if needed. Okay, bring it back, inhale. Now as I'm pulling back, I want to be mindful. I'm not feeling discomfort of the low back, so that tail is heavy. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, open, pull back. Let's sweep that right hand to the floor. Left arm continues into a circle. Pull back and rotate. Try to draw your left knee towards your center or kind of maybe towards your chest as you're moving. And one more. Inhale. You could always find elevation, any movement we're doing if you need your blocks or additional space. Take that left hand to the floor. Left leg steps back. And once again, we lower all the way down. Inhale, lifting up. Lift the chest, drop the tail. Your cobras may be getting bigger, and they may not. That's okay. Just again, make sure it's gentle. You're not overpowering. Don't worry about my range of motion compared to yours. We're all different. Okay. One more. Lifting and lowering. Now inhale, coming up. Once again, you can move back into child's pose, or you can move into downward facing dog, little crouching down dog, and back to your plank. Send it back, inhale, and then forward. Let's take one more here. Inhale, exhale, all the way back into downward facing dog again. And then taking the feet a little closer together. Taking your right leg up, bend the knee, flip the hip open. This time let's sweep that right foot all the way up to the top. So take the left knee down if you need time to assist your right foot to the top of your mat. Make sure if you have something nearby that you want to hold, it's close enough to reach. Okay, a strap or a towel. Sweeping up, pull the arms back. And then this time we're going to hold it here, reaching the hands back, holding a towel, a strap, or just interlacing your fingers to lift through the chest. Your hip points are forward, dialing up just slightly. Inhale, exhale, come forward gently. Now, if you feel like that's a little too much for you today, just come down and do this in a low lunge. Your choice. Take another breath, and then releasing. Sweep the arms up again. Let's bring that left arm all the way across to the right thigh, and then the right arm reaching up. Once again, left knee can stay down. Sweep it back around. Both arms reaching up. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. I want you to step that left foot up, maybe about 5-6 inches or so, maybe even more. until you can get up into a nice pyramid where both heels can land to the floor. Now, if you're feeling tight here, go ahead, grab your blocks or an elevated space so that you can keep your back flat rather than rounding. Deep breath. Exhale. Try to hinge deeper from your hips wherever you are. Your hands can be more elevated than your head even. So if your head starts to come down lower and you're holding onto something higher, it's okay. Inhale. You may find a nice gentle lift on the inhale, and exhale, slowly deepening into the pose. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. Let the head hang. Last full breath here. As you start to lift the chest up, if you have that elevated space, go ahead and take a higher surface with that left hand. We'll rotate again, right arm reaching. I want you to feel like you're squeezing your inner thighs toward each other. Bring it back down. Now, moving any items you may have, bend the front knees softly, and we'll step it back all the way into down dog. So take a couple big steps back there into your downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank. And then dropping the knees, lowering down again. This time, as you lift up, see if you can lift up and then lift your feet as well. Reach those arms back, and just like you're flying through the air, holding but breathing. Take another breath. And then place the hands back underneath the shoulders, toes turn under, lift up to the knees or the toes, and then back into downward facing dog. Gazing forward, walking up, stepping or walking, however you want to get there. Inhale, sweeping up all the way to center. Take your big side reach again. There's nothing better to me than just really getting those lateral movements in to help and alleviate discomfort that may be creeping up into the low back. Okay, so exhale, lower down. Lifting halfway up. And then taking your right foot back. Pausing here. So knee can be down or up as you sweep up again. Let the arms reach back. Taking hold here, chest opening. Again, find what works better for you. If you're feeling like you need a little less strength, a little more stretch, just stay down here on the floor. Deep breath. Gently bring the chest forward, lift those arms. And then releasing as you sweep up. Let's bring that right arm across toward the left thigh. The left arm reaches back. Knee down, variation. Take another deep breath here. And then sweep it back up. And lowering down. Okay. Now stepping your right foot up. Finding your pyramid pose. So once again, you can take those elevated items, place them under the hands, straightening both legs. So shifting those hips so that both of the hips are level. And you feel like you're kind of squeezing inner thighs again toward each other. As you exhale, try to hinge deeper from the hip. Let the head fall. 3 more full breaths. Go ahead and release. Put a little soft bend in the front knee. You can set your items off. Step that right foot further back and then the left. Back into your down dog. Take the left leg. Lift it up. Open it up. Give it a little twist here, taking a look under the right armpit. Bring it down. We'll lower all the way to the floor. Down to the mat. And then again, go ahead and lift the legs. Make sure the pubic bone is pushed down. You can sweep the arms back. Just gazing to the floor, not overstressing or straining. We're just finding A little locust, shalabhasana. Bring the hands down, toes turn under, inhale, lift up, press it back, and then start to walk forward. So from your standing forward fold, inhale, lifting up, exhale, hands back to center. Let's take a wide stance. So as we step, you can either just step back or just turn on your mat. I'm going to take the blocks with me so you have something elevated here in front of you. So a nice wide forward bend first. So we're going to start with those toes straight ahead. Check out the outside edges of your feet, pretty parallel to the short ends of your mat. As your tail slightly drops down, not a big tuck. Sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. As you come down, if your hands don't quite reach the floor, just let them land on the items that you have below you. If they do reach the floor, that's fine and great. You can do that as well. Okay, just wherever it most suits you. Starting to walk over to your left side. And just walk it over. So if you can take your right hand and wrap it around your ankle without moving your hip around with you. So just keep your hips like they're attached to the wall behind you, like you're sitting on the wall with your sit bones. But you're pulling your torso over towards your left side. And it may not be as low as I am here today. So maybe you're just kind of lifted up and pulling yourself over. That's fine. Take another breath. And then if you still have that elevated space somewhere nearby or a block, we can take that under the right hand, move the hand forward a bit in front of your foot, and then lift the left arm. Just roll back. And then come back to center. We'll switch sides, walking over to the right. Take a moment. Now left hand reaches around the ankle. Pull yourself further over. Not forcing, just gently drawing yourself down. You want to take that left hand in front of the foot on a block or the floor, and then lift the right arm up. And bring it back down. So as we stay here, we're going to just heel toe the feet in a few times, moving into deep squat. So as you start to set the heels or set the hips back, if your heels pop up, so as mine are here, so sometimes the heels pop up, a couple things you can do. One is take your feet wider. This may help. You could also take a blanket and just place that rolled up blanket underneath your heels for support, or let your heels land completely on the floor. Okay. And just opening the knees there for your little yogi squat, little malasana. Lifting your chest, let your tail drop. Try to lift up tall and let your sit bones be really heavy here. This is a great energy bringing pose for your low back as well. And then now we're going to just tumble on back. So find your way the most graceful way you've got to get down to the floor. So we're just going to rock it back, or however you like to get there. If you have that elevated like blanket, something you can roll up and sit on, go ahead and take that. If not, it's okay. Just take what you can. Okay. We'll take the left leg out. Nice wide angle here. Taking your left hand, let's start with it over to the left side, just kind of out from where your hip is, over to the floor or a block, and then the right arm sweeping over. So not quite toward the foot yet. We're just reaching to the side of the room. And stay there for a couple more rounds of breath. I want you to really fall into it. Imagine that the side waists are equally as long still, so there's not a really big, at first I come over and there's a big rounding. So I want to even that out just a little bit. I'm going to reach a little further, trying to stay a little more lifted. Anchor that right hip. And now just start to gently rotate yourself towards your leg, towards your foot. Rotate down and pause. See if you can bring both of your arms framing that front leg, the left leg. If you need to back off a little, it's okay. If you want to come up on the blocks, it's great. Just whatever works better for you. Deep breath. Exhale it out. And one more breath here. Walking yourself back up. Bringing right hand behind, left arm reaches up. and lifting, opening front body. And bring it down. We're switching sides, so taking right leg out, left leg in. Try to keep the toes toward the sky, kind of so that they don't just fall off to the outside. Generally, this is what will happen, and just kind of rotate out. So kind of do a little bit of internal rotation on the inner thigh. Let the toes reach up to the ceiling, and then your right hand over to the side. As you reach up and over, anchor that left side waist. Try to think about getting long and tall, just shifting from your hips first, and then gently reaching further with each exhale. Let your shoulder blade just roll down your back bicep as close to your ear as you can as you're reaching out long. Let's take one more deep breath. Notice you'll rise with an inhale, you'll fall with an exhale. So now pausing at your deepest point and then rotating around so that your chest is now more square to the leg in front of you. Both hands can frame that leg, even if you're lifted up very high. Okay, hands to either side of that leg, and just gently begin to fall. Two more rounds of breath. Starting to walk back up. And sweep the left hand back. Right arm reaches, hips lift. And then bring it all the way back down. Take a little moment as we roll back onto the mat. You can move all of your items just right off to the side. Okay, so spinning yourself around, rolling onto the mat. Feet are hip distance and about parallel with one another. Just doing a nice little bridge lift here, lifting the hips. Press back through the shoulders. Take a pause here, and if you'd like to go deeper, you can bend your elbows and start shifting yourself from one side to the other to tuck your arms under deeper and hold, interlacing the fingers or with a strap. But if that's discomforting, don't worry about it. You can just hold on to the edges of your mat still and lift. Imagine you're squeezing a small ball between the thighs. Feet are anchored. One more breath. Slowly release your shoulders, your arms, and then let the spine drop to the floor. As we take another full body stretch, reach the arms, the legs out. Exhale, bring the knees in, hug them down. Feel that great little stretch there and decompression for your back. And do remember that we have other videos where I've done the releasing with the chair. So those are great ones to do when you get really tight, really stiff. You can place your legs up on a chair or up a wall. It's a nice way to release your back as well. So from here, go ahead and keep your knees together, arms out, and we'll rotate to the left. Just let the knees land. Now a little extra is to straighten out that right leg, reach it forward. Back to center, switching sides. Over to the right. One, and again, you can straighten out your left leg if you choose. Coming back to center again. All the way. Drop the feet. Take the legs, the width of your mat, down to the corners. As you cross your right ankle over your left, reach arms overhead. It's going to very much mimic what we did at the beginning of our class. So instead of crossing back, we're crossing over. So right leg crosses over. I want you to take your left hand, hold your right wrist, and then just kind of shimmy your shoulders over to the left side of your mat so you look like a big banana here, similar to when we were standing. Try to breathe in through the right side waist. Exhale it out. Really pull that wrist over a bit. And then back to center, releasing, just kind of shimmy or inchworm yourself back to center. Right leg goes to the corner, left leg crosses on top. And then we're going to shimmy the head and the shoulders over to the right. As you reach up, take hold of your left wrist with your right hand. and draw it over. Try to keep that left side body kind of pushing down rather than rolling up away from the mat. Taking one more breath. And then back to center. Unwind, uncross, and then just find a spot where you can sit quietly for just a few rounds of breath. We'll take about 5 full breaths here. So just find a space where the eyes can become heavy, closed. Shoulders relax. You may even place a little weight in your elbows to draw your shoulders underneath you just a bit more. Just shimmy them around a little. Make sure they're soft. The low back feels soft and relaxed, but it will most likely be arched away from the mat just a bit. Ideally, we have weight evenly distributed across our shoulder blades, our mid-back, through the glutes. Relax the legs. Feel the heaviness all the way down to your toes. Allow the tongue to fall in the mouth. Just honoring this moment in time that you have for yourself. With your next breath, just finding gentle movements of your fingers and your toes, wrists and ankles. And starting to bring the knees up by placing the feet on the mat first. And then you might even hug your knees in one more time into the chest. And just rock it over to one side, taking a moment of pause, deep breath in. Let go of anything that may not serve you for the rest of your journey today as you come all the way up to seated. As we meet here in our seated position, just take a moment, let your head go side to side a few times. Hopefully we feel a little looser. We've let go of a little tension today. We'll come back into center space, eyes heavy or closed. Sweeping the arms up one more time. Hands meeting and resting at the heart as you bow to your own inner wisdom, the own light and voice within. Thanks for showing up today. Namaste.